Welcome back to my channel. This is a reading for Virgo, and this is actually a career and finance reading for April 2020. It's actually a continuation of the first reading. Unfortunately, I had some technical difficulties, which I did have to do this in a two-part, which is probably for the best because the first section was close to an hour, and this might be a little more elongated as well. I'll try to shortcut what I did in the first video, although a lot more will be detailed in that one, and so this is really going to be completely surface in regards to the cards that were general energies. So I didn't go through all of the general energies in the first video, but this one, as I say, I'll just give you a rough idea of the general energies for Virgo for the month of April 2020. So what I did gather from the reading, just in the layout of the cards, for the month of April, I felt that Virgo, you were actually going through some kind of a soul searching. I don't mean soul searching as in going into hermit mode, cutting yourself off from people, that kind of thing. I feel that you're still, in contact with a lot of people, and there's still, community and whatever. There's still a lot of connection there and involvement with other relationships. It's just the feeling or the sense that I was picking up had more to do with you doing some introspection as to what your real calling is. How can you go deeper? How can you reconnect with a part of yourself that's feeling a little bored or stagnant? There's some sense of you being not completely connected either to divine spirit or source. I just feel that you are searching for some kind of deeper meaning in your life, and for the month of April, that seems to be pretty relevant. So anyway, I did go through some of the cards in the first reading with the Mary Magdalene card, and again, I'll just pull them forward again just so you have some idea of what that was about. Mary Magdalene was unconditional love. Love yourself and others in every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be. So I did feel that you sometimes can overdo for other people, neglect yourself, and in doing all those other activities for other people, we sometimes deliberately do that as a way of avoiding going too far inward to resolve issues. Again, the leap of faith is another card that was speaking to the same. Take a risk, put your heart's true desire into action. That card indicated that you were you're ready to take that leap of faith. You are ready for the challenge, because it's not that I feel that you're out of touch with your gifts and your talents and those kinds of things. It felt more like you were not just not connected to it. You weren't able to act on it. You wanted to, you want deeper meaning in your life. You want to be more spiritual. You want to be more satisfied with the activities and the things that you do, and you know what you're good at. And I do feel that you have more of an artistic bent, and especially coming through with the life purpose cards that speak to the same. But I did feel that you just somehow are not devoting the time or the steps, or you're not consistent enough with it for you to immerse yourself and feel that you're getting enough from it that you are able to grow it. So we can do activities, but if we're not actually growing in those activities, they're still just activities, and it's you going out to do the activity. So I just felt, I'm going to use an example as I did with the last reading, which please check it out because I think it actually gives a lot more detail. But as far as yoga or meditation, for example, I feel that you can show up for the class, get the exercise, leave, go home, eat. But I feel what you're searching for is something deeper than that. I feel that you would benefit from doing some research on, what it means to be connected to source, or in your yoga, how it affects your body and how to get in touch with chakras or healing of some sort. This is just like one example, but I mean, you can apply it to whatever your interests are. That could be even on an artistic front. If you're just doing the drawings at home and you're not growing from it because you're not going out to read more material, you're not trying different techniques or different mediums, you're not going through other classes, those kinds of things help to grow you as an artist or as a healer or whatever it is that your pursuit is. So where I left off in the last reading was actually at the Alana Fairchild Sacred Rebel cards, which are the two at the far back here. So I'll just quickly mention that those ones, I feel, I really like that deck, the imagery. But again, they still spoke to the same as well. Like, I mean, the Emerging card as well as the Soul Glimpse card, you know, those ones were from the Sacred Awakenings card. And that was, again, about you, you know, trying to go through trying to find a deeper understanding and an expanded awareness to express yourself. And again, the Soul Glimpse card along that same line was you trying to awaken to that aspect of, you know, divinity. You're going through that journey, that path to enlightenment, and you're trying to find that spiritual awakening within yourself. So just on a brief note, that's what those cards speak to. And then there's also, as I mentioned, the other cards. I didn't actually go through the Lion and the Love card in the last reading. So I will go through and maybe start with that. No, actually, I'll go through and start with the Faith in the Process and Following Your Own Rhythm. So we'll start with that, and then I'll go through the Fortune cards, and then the Life Purpose cards, etc. So as far as the Follow Your Own Rhythm cards, and again, that was Faith in Process, Follow Your Own Rhythm. So I'll start with, I guess, the other side there, Faith in Process. That card really speaks to the same thing. So it's about, you know, these are Oracle cards, so I'll read a little bit from the book on these ones, just because I have more information on the Rider-Waite versus the Oracle cards. It is a deck I've used before, I just don't use it very often. Anyway, with that card, it does speak to no matter how powerful you are, how much courage and strength that you have, there's still times, you know, that you feel as you're moving into the next phase of your life that you need to creatively explore. So it's using that divine intervention to be able to help you to push beyond your limits. And as well, when you feel like you've run out of resources, personal resources, that's the time that you want to ask the questions from Spirit or your ancestors, you know, to come in and help to guide you, to give you, you ask the question and you sit quietly to wait for the answer, the inspiration. And it will come as in some kind of a synergistic way. It could be patterns or seeing a lot of symbols or a repeated thought in your head that you need to check something out or explore it. So the other thing is just remembering that divine, even though we're bound by physical laws because we are of the physical world, you know, information that comes through from divine or spirit, whatever again that means to you, is information, inspiration that can shift and bend. So these influences are very persuasive, and they're a lot more meaningful when you follow up with the idea. So you might get the inspiration to check something out, but you really need the willpower and the motivation to and you have to be strong enough to be able to follow that vision. You know, and again, even with artistic pursuits, to flesh it out and get a better idea of what is the meaning behind it all. So just to remember, you know, that when you are standing in your power and you are fulfilling your life's purpose, you know, that is you benefiting humanity. It's you giving back to the world, and, you know, you're helping to shift not only your perspective, but the perspective of others to be able to, you know, realize their greater plan as well. So wherever you're sourcing out your inspiration, you have to remember that somebody else sourced out their inspiration to provide that for you. So you would be in turn doing the same for them. So it's really kind of genius when you think about it. You know, we are so connected that we all need to stay socially connected, whether it's, again, even though we're in isolation and confined on some levels in a physical way now, I mean, the mind is something that, you know, we're always going to have a broader range of, a broader reach with. But again, you could still be making products, you could still be making furniture or whatever it is, like making a craft or something that you can still put out into the world for sale, and that's still, you expressing yourself in that same way. So, of course, it's just about letting you know to trust your divine intuition. That is where you're going to get that meaning, that self-purpose again, and to have a little faith in that process. Because sometimes, we get ourselves so busy, we do for others, and we do it deliberately as, yes, some things need to get done, but it's about reprioritizing, so you actually do prioritize yourself again, which is what the Mary Magdalene card spoke to with unconditional love, and that's giving back to you so that you actually get a chance to reveal yourself. And you also start to find resources as well in starting out on that path. So you take one step, one foot in front of the other, that helps to bring you to that place where you truly desire, where you're not afraid to lose because you're enjoying the process. So with all things in life, there's always some sacrifice. There's always some, part of the plan that requires you to grow, which means there's going to be a lesson in it. You can decide if it's going to be a hard lesson or a milder lesson based on how much you're listening to spirit or that gut instinct. I mean, the lesson is harder if you're refusing to listen. It's an easier path when you start to relax, unwind, unblock yourself, and go into that vision and explore it. It's when you're sitting idle for too long and out of touch with yourself that we tend to have harder lessons in life, I would say, is maybe the best way to put it. So following your own rhythm is the next card over here. And again, that one is along that same line. So it's about you being deeply moved by some kind of, ancient, powerful force. And because there were quite a few cards that spoke to travel in this reading, and again, travel can mean so many different things. It doesn't have to be that you're physically traveling somewhere. It can be that you are just exploring travel on the internet, or you're making plans for travel, or that you had traveled and it impacted you in some way, and it's coming through in a express way, either through writing or through artistry or painting, whatever it is. And again, these cards that I pulled down here, which were the ones that are the Impressionists tarot, that actually speaks to that artist as well, who did much of the same thing. This is somebody that there were a few different artists in that tarot, but the artists actually would be able to visualize because as they aged, they didn't have vision that was able to see colors or see things in the same way. I believe, I forget what it is, but I believe as you get older, you see yellows and blues differently. And so but again, that's just showing another unique perspective, but it helps you to recreate an image that you maybe once remembered and in your travels, and you're now bringing it forward and able to paint it or write it or whatever and express it in some way. So again, that's kind of traveling, through time to a degree here as well. But again, travel can be, so many different things. Travel through media, travel through, it's your communication. It's the way in which you get in touch with the world. So again, following your own rhythm speaks to getting in touch with that part of yourself that is moved by things on a deeper level. So even though you might be feeling like, and this might be a little extreme, but feel like something's dying within, or something is basically falling away, if it's no longer needed in your life, it's not something that's useful to you, then you need to let it go so that you can transition into this new self that you're becoming, which has more meaning, that has more purpose. So who you were yesterday was fine for creating who you are in the moment, but unable to go beyond that, you need to get into a little more of an uncomfortable place, build another foundation, and then go with that energy and that flow to be able to overcome the agitation and the restlessness of, being stagnant and not finding your life path and feeling like there's something still missing in your life. So this is something that can't be rushed or forced. You can hold yourself back, by not taking some moments to reflect as well, but for sure it is a time where you need to trust in those cycles. So the cycles of self being knowing your own rhythm. So, when you feel like you need to push yourself, push yourself. When you feel like you need to rest, rest. Because for each period, everything has meaning. everything bears meaning. So when you push ahead and you run out of resources, you need to pull back and find, the places to nourish yourself, those spaces again to reconnect to the environment or reconnect to yourself, or just to be peaceful and get your thoughts together again to be able to move forward. So that rhythm is, could be showing up in music. Some people, it's the beat of a drum, a tribal drum or something along that line, or going to a creative group and writers, that kind of thing, meetup groups. And again, right now, there's plenty of that stuff online, but those are things that help you to reconnect and, start making music or start making a connection with nature. You can still go out a lot of times, depending on where you are, and access nature, even if it's just in your backyard. But hearing the sound of a bird or something might trigger, an idea. So it's about you becoming more in tune, more harmonic with your own cycles of your body and of yourself. So again, taking time to allow things to emerge and move into a more positive energetic exchange. So it's about you honoring those places again for rest and replenishment, and playing when you need to play, work when you need to work, follow your body's natural flow. And that helps you to stand in a place of empowerment. So again, releasing any unhealthy attachments to things, or things from old structures from the past that might be preventing you from accessing and moving forward in the present with new ideas, and just honoring those sacred rhythms is really what that card is about. So just to be aware of your own energy and learning something new about yourself and about your surroundings, helps you to become more in touch when it's practiced, and to continue on that journey so that it grows and expands. Okay, so moving on from that, I'm going to read the Lion and the Love cards. The Lion and the Love cards, actually, these ones again are the fortune cards. They're a little more along, for sure, love can be passion behind a project, but it can also be relationships. And sometimes I find the readings that I give also explore relationships, because a lot of our relationships, whether it's business or personal relationships, love relationships, all of that, friends, family relationships, they all seem to overlap, because we go to people for advice. We have to work alongside people, and each of these things oftentimes will impact our finances. So there might be an inkling of, of a relationship cards in the reading, as these are just the general cards anyway, so they're likely to come out in the reading. But overall, the reading will be more specific to career and finance here shortly. So I'm going to start with the Love card. And again, it does speak to both personal relationships as well as career and money. So I'll start with just generally, the card itself says love surrounds all your connections, and to move forward positively in all areas of your life. So it's what the card really speaks to is you being, it says electric, your aura is electric, but you're basically able to attract people to you, is what it's really saying. So that goes to personally or professionally. The card is letting you know that you have the ability to attract things to you. So in doing so, you have to be careful about, where your temptations lay, because you don't want to stray away from a sense of purpose. And so this card does speak to, on a relationship front, a soulmate connection. It can also talk about your heart being, on fire because you feel this strong attraction for someone, and it's a very dynamic relationship, or a relationship that you're currently in that speaks to something that seems to be a lifelong commitment. So it's about letting go of troublesome relationships and trying to find solutions from them, and trying to create harmony for yourself so that you can move forward into the future. And it's about things moving at a more rapid pace with this card. So it's, again, a card of celebration, family reunions, get-togethers. And again, it doesn't have to be physical contact, because given our current constraints around the world, that's likely not how it would be not how it would be surfacing, but it is still something that is an opportunity for you to connect with people and, have moments of joy, creating some memories. In terms of career and money, as I mentioned before, it can be also speaking to, you having great networking opportunities. You're seeing some opportunities that might be coming through for you that that you do take interest in, because it does seem to speak to harmony around work. So you're finding yourself either in a new role professionally, or you're gaining some admirers, that kind of thing, whether socially or on the work front. And there's more business opportunities that are coming through with this card, as well as you're able to manifest them. So as they say, where your attention goes, well, I'm going to change it. The manifestation flows. So just because I've forgotten how it was entirely expressed, but it's along that same line. So, the more attention you put on a particular area of your life, the more growth there you'll see there. So as far as the Lion card, this is a card that speaks to fighting for justice. So it's about harnessing the loyal and protective aura of the lion and charge ahead magnificently, is what the card reads. But again, with the lion, it says that the lion is someone who fights for justice and warns others. It's a symbol of protection. So I feel with this card, you're actually being protected. As much as you might have a protective quality, toward others, I feel in terms of this reading, you're being protected, and that you're able to face your challenges head on, and there's nothing that you can't accomplish with this card. It is about you striding ahead, taking leaps and bounds, as with the Leap of Faith card here. It also speaks to you gaining more respect and you're being admired, as did the Love card. So again, it's a repeated message and a repeated theme through all of these cards here. And these are the general energies for April. So again, it's about, travel. It does speak to travel with this card as well. Again, that stands out. You also have the World card down here, which also spoke to travel as well. So again, it's not necessarily physical travel heading out right now, but it could be just travel in terms of, communications across the world, that kind of thing. So just to be aware of that, there's something around travel that helps you to feel more alive, and it would be noteworthy to explore that. Okay, so back to the Lion card. It does, again, it talks about, you exploring destinations. But in terms of personal relationships, about you being brave, fearless, you're loyal to your friends and your loved ones, and that you, again, gaining more respect. But it also speaks to, and again, because it is coupled with the Love card, love usually indicates really intense emotions. And again, you had, sort of the card up here referencing sort of the same idea, something emerging. It does bring to the surface a lot of raw emotions. So you just want to be careful not to let them run the gamut, and just to rein them in. Because you might be running a little higher emotionally in the month of April, whether it's anger or, you're being confronted with some difficult people. But it does speak to, sizzling passion, that kind of thing, just higher resonance for emotional situations anyway. In terms of career and money, the Lion card speaks to you being the king of the castle. You're just not letting people get in the way. You are starting to get onto a mission here with the overall energy for April. So you do want to get in touch with your dreams and to survive against the odds, and your timing is going to be critical though with this card. So you do, when an opportunity arises, you want to make sure you jump on it. You want to take that leap of faith. You want to be able to act on something before you lose that inspiration or that momentum or that faith in yourself, because it takes practice before something becomes an ingrained part of your life. Okay, so moving on past that, I'm going to actually jump down to the life purpose cards, because as I said, I felt that you were having some difficulty in finding some connection to source, or connection to yourself, or some kind of overall emptiness was coming through that you weren't able to get or derive strong enough purpose in your life. And so I'm going to read these cards here. It doesn't mean that you're definitely going to become an artist or whatever. It does mean, though, that there is something that you have that speaks to each of these cards. So as far as, I'll start with the artist card just because I brought that up first anyway. But as far as the artist card, and I'll bring that forward just so you can see the card itself. It does say engaging in artistic activities is beneficial to your career and every other area of your life. So again, artistic qualities could come through in baking, could come through in knitting, could come through in how you write something or whatever it is for you, paintings, that kind of thing. But however you apply it, there is some kind of artistic activity that is relevant. It could be even even if you're not able to manifest it on a physical level if you're not somebody who's good with your hands and crafting it out, it could be just that you have the ability to see the world in a really colorful way, and that artistic eye that you have, for shapes or for just colors and objects, is something that you're able to bring forward in a career or in some kind of a passion project. So just to be aware of that. It's really a card that lets you know that you do have that inner artist. So however it speaks to you and however you express it, it is something that you can draw upon. So if you had, just to ask yourself questions as well, like in terms of the artist, if you had unlimited time, which you might right now, what would you be doing? If you had unlimited time and money, what kind of creative work could you engage in, that's beneficial for you, that you could start to explore? And again, taking the time and making good use of it right now instead of worrying about things you can't control. For sure, take the time out. If you have to focus on money and getting things together, do that for a day or two. Take a break of a few hours and try to unwind doing something creative, but coming back to source and looking for solutions before you jump in there again to start, I don't want to say worrying, but having to resource to secure yourself in a financial way. And again, there's lots of things online as well that, so whatever your day job was, if it was something external to you that was outside of a computer, you're going to find that, the way of the world is going to be more so online as time goes on. I suspect that business will change. In the way that we do business, it's already changing. Most things or a lot of things are still bought online. Versus going into the store physically to pick it up. So just to be aware that, trying to take advantage of that time right now in looking online for ways to make money might be a good use of your time while you have the time to do that, because it does take several hours to figure these things out. So I don't think it's going to be a quick process. But anyway, as far as the artist card itself, it's about taking that opportunity to engage in something artistic. Again, if it's jewelry making or painting or taking an art course or something even online, learning to sketch or dance or sew or whatever it is for you, something about that finished creation, something about the process of making it helps you to reconnect to yourself again and to get onto that path. So moving past that is, again, the travel card. And I think I actually spoke to that one on quite a few fronts there, so I won't go too much further into that one. But, I feel that your life purpose is somehow connected to traveling with this card here. So I'll pull that card forward just so you have because it's they're a nice looking deck as well. Your life purpose involves traveling. But again, I do feel that is a card that's letting you know that you find some kind of validation, through work that involves travel, or you, as they say, communicating with people at a distance, or looking at images, something about the experience of travel, either whether you've traveled before that you need to draw upon and use as a source for creating something right now. But it's, again, about you putting forth some movement in that direction, letting go of old ideas and repurpose that image that you had in your mind's eye to something that you can use for a new project. So again, I just feel your life purpose is tied to somehow to that. And again, I mean, once bans lift over time, which I mean, I do believe they will be, you know, if you are able to go to some kind of spiritual class or healing of some sort, Reiki or whatever it is, energy healing, or going to places that have some history that help you to connect out in nature, these are also modes of travel, and might be something that you gain some better insight into. Talk to your angels. So again, instead of worrying, put the question out there. Say, okay, Spirit, here's my concern. I need some help in lining things up, to find resources for whatever it is that you're trying to overcome. So this card is really about, again, is letting you know that the Spirit is there to help guide you. You just need to ask the right questions. If you have a lot of worry in your mind, it's difficult for Spirit to get through and give you answers when you're blocked. We do block ourselves on the physical realm, simply by virtue of being so caught up in our mind. You aren't open to other possibilities. So again, you have to find a way to limit cyclical thoughts, recurrent, habits that we get into, patterns. So again, that's just low energy, that pulls down your energy. It's low energy thinking. So it is a card really that is letting you know just to be a little more positive about, I don't know how I'm going to pay a bill, but, I need some options in creating my life path that would help me to pay those bills. However you want to phrase it, because it's just about you following that intuitive urge, and you will get the action steps once you're able to open up. Okay, so the card again is letting you know that you do have angels that are there for you. They are protecting you, which, you do have the cards of protection here as well. And you've got Divine Spirit coming through with, you've got the Star card and various things here, which I'll pull forward as I go through them. But again, there's lots of hope and optimism coming through. So moving on to, actually I didn't go through the angel therapy cards, which are the ones in the far corner there. So it's Archangel Raphael as well as the release card. So Archangel Raphael is, again, it's that healing angel that's supporting you. It's letting you know that, whatever prayers or whatever questions, things that you have put out to the universe, you are being healed. You are being given guidance. You just need to be receptive to it. So in terms of your body, I feel that you need to draw some attention to that, because there's a lot of cards about healing on that front as well. And this is also an angel that speaks to, letting you know you need to quit drinking or smoking or reduce something, or, don't, try to stop overeating. I mean, we're never going to be perfect creatures, where we stop all things necessarily. Sometimes when we're in low places, we tend to go gravitate back to those spaces. But, you just get right back onto it and repeatedly do it until you get there, because our willpower is not indefinite. I mean, we do have willpower to draw upon to prevent ourselves and to create more discipline in our lives, but as our body gets tired, the willpower is less effective when you're constantly making really big decisions in your life and you're under heavy stress. So the key to doing things is to make repeated patterns on smaller scales so that it's well practiced. So when you go to make the bigger decisions, they don't weigh so heavy on you. So anyway, as far as the Archangel Raphael card goes, again, it speaks to just trying to eliminate some unhealthy cravings or things around you that will help you to move forward and create more motivation, whether it's to exercise, whatever it is for you, and that you're being guided on that front. So the next card, as I mentioned there, they're all along the same theme, is the release card. And again, it's about letting you know that you need to release things that no longer serve you. So, old habits, old patterns, old negative thinking, anything that is getting too far in the way to you moving forward is why you're not connecting to your life path, why you are feeling bored, why you are feeling stymied. So again, it's just about you maybe feeling blocked, and that's why the card of release is coming up here. But it's about you starting to feel, understand that you have some kind of a life mission here, that it is a part of a bigger picture, that you are able to move forward on this path with that universal flow, and you are supported, but you have to let go of those ego-based concerns, or those activities that are standing in your way, the ones that we repeatedly do unconsciously because we feel they all need to be done. But again, shifting your perspective and try to reprioritize so that you can take some small actionable steps to get yourself back onto path and purpose. And if that takes you creating a vision board and cutting out things out of a book, or looking at a lot of images and pasting things together on the internet, that helps to re-inspire you, then do those things. It's about being aware, mindful of your thoughts, your feelings, your visions, your words, and taking note, even writing it down, because sometimes it helps to solidify things for you that you do need to act on it. So that was same, overlapping message with those cards here. I'll skip down to the next cards here, which would be, I think I'll start with the Impressionist cards there, because the Impressionist cards are really inspirational, and I think that's a good way to kind of move on to it. This one, again, these are a little more, I'll read from the book on these just because I don't deal with these cards very often, because they are a little heavier, but they are more inspirational, I think, during these times. That's something that we need to look at, is trying to keep ourselves motivated. Because 4 walls can be a little limiting, but when you have your mindset, you're able to expand beyond those 4 walls. So never feel trapped. Anyway, you do have the 4 of Pentacles is what that card would actually represent. So the 4 of Pentacles is a card that speaks to, you being able to gain respect, or like there's material gain, there's some wealth that's coming through here. So you're obviously starting to work on some ideas that help to build your finances. But it also speaks to protection as well with this card. So it can be that you're also a little bit hanging on to money and being a little more guarded and not moving forward with your finances at this time. But it also speaks to, you're able to profit if you allow yourself to build, because we've got the 6 of Cups following that, and then there's the Rainbow card. So anyway, the 4 of Pentacles, this is the painter is actually Edgar, I'm going to mispronounce this, Degas, Degas, and there's a quote that goes with it, and it says, "It is very good to copy what one sees." Maybe I'll pull this forward again. It says, "It is very good to copy what one sees. It is much better to draw what you can't see anymore, but is in your memory." So that spoke to what I mentioned earlier as well. Even with travel, this is a card that lets you know that you have something, some source to draw upon that's related to travel, or some kind of an interest that you need to explore. I think there were at least 3 cards here that I noticed that related to travel. But anyway, again, it's very good to copy what one sees, but it's much better to draw what you can't see anymore, but is in your memory. And that was Edgar Degas. So the picture was just about an old man that is sitting on a bench, and he's resting his arm on his lap, and his hand is on the top of the cane, and he's in a ballet studio. So he's not alone in the room, but he feels alone with his thoughts. So he's gazing at the 4 yellow ribbons that are hung like prize ribbons, and these are symbols of training and victory on that spiritual, intellectual, physical, and emotional realms. So those yellow bows represent the pieces of the past, and they're played out like golden trophies. And so basically they are markers You know, they're old memories, they're shadows of the past. They have nothing more to really offer because they are a part of the memory, but they are also a part of your experience and a part of your foundation for you to move forward on. So Degas didn't paint on location. He worked from memory, and he drew and he painted in his studio. And that was the painting that he created in 1871 called the Ballet Class. So the Sun in Capricorn, this is sort of the illumination on the card. The Sun in Capricorn illuminates everything that it touches. So it is that drive for fame and fortune, or you know, whatever wealth means to you. But it's about success in some way that's keeping him from his family and from things that it's keeping him from the things that allow him to be on a deeper path. So it's about avoiding yourself because you're so focused on money and that level of security that you're missing out on the things that help to develop a path, you know, make it more meaningful. So again, is speaking to hanging on a little too tightly for you to expand. Okay, so the next card after that was again the Six of Cups, and that one is actually again highly emotional cards with cups. So I'll just pull that one forward here too. So the Six of Cups is, there's a quote, that's Claude Monet's painting. Happy are the young people who believe that it is easy. So there's some freedom in being youthful or in taking a youthful mindset to accomplish things. So generally speaking, it also says you can't go home again. And again, that's really just a spin-off from the Four of Pentacles. But you can't go home again. But you're able to picture your past exactly as it used to be. So there's two children that stand in a courtyard filled with flowers, siblings, cousins, or neighbors, and they're barefoot, and they're wearing simple play clothes, and you know, they're rolled up trousers and that kind of thing. But the children are safe and clean and clothed and fed. They're happy, they're healthy, they're well loved and cared for, and they're surrounded by a row of hedges and densely planted trees, and they're standing near their family home. The windows, however, are dark, and they're shuttered. And so it's hinting at childhood memories and things that are best left unremembered. So Claude Monet in 1876 painted this, and wherever he lived, Monet was a gardener, and he frequently depicted his friends and family members in beautifully landscaped yards. He literally painted a nostalgic view of blissful family life and where loved ones basked in sunshine and relaxed on shaded patios and enjoyed each other's company. So no matter what their actual circumstances were, you know, when he ran out of money, he simply moved his wife and children to new homes and new gardens. So that's just something to be mindful of. So that card, again, also speaks to, you know, when the sun illuminates things. Sun is in Scorpio with this card. So on a good day, you know, the sun brightens and the sign is that things are happy memories and there's family and friends around. But unfortunately, you know, when the planets are in Scorpio, you can obsess over unquenched desires or unrequited love. So things that aren't working in your favor. So just to be aware that the Six of Cups suggests that there's a certain period of nostalgia here. So again, I didn't feel that you were going into hermit mode and doing that kind of soul searching. I just feel that you are reflecting an awful lot on nostalgic times, carefree days, or when things were going well, you know, and that could be, again, you know, your relationships with brothers, sisters, childhood friends, that kind of thing. But it might even indicate that there's some kind of a reunion coming here, you know, whether a long-lost love or friends, family, something that's coming through on that front that's related to something of the past. So again, it's a card of memories and nostalgia and souvenirs and sentiment, all of that. So the next card is the Rainbow card, and the Rainbow is actually the Ten of Cups. And that card here So the Ten of Cups is a card that, this is again Claude Monet, and he says, I'm very happy, very delighted, for I am surrounded here by all that I love. I spend my time out of doors, and then in the evening, I come home to my little cottage to find a good fire with a dear little family. So this card is really letting you know, this was painted in 1890. It's called The Pond. It's a bridge over a pond of water lilies. So in 1890, Monet diverted the stream of his property in Giverny and created a water garden. So he planted weeping willows and in his bamboo and he built a Japanese footbridge. So for the next 3 decades, he painted that garden on his increasingly larger series of canvases. His compositions grew more and more abstract as he had failing eyesight. So again, that card is just letting you know that one instant, one aspect of nature contains it all. You know, so just in looking at that one image, you know, he was able to pull forward a lot of his memories, a lot of his happiness, and just in times, in uncertain times like this that we're experiencing, it's just a good card to reflect on. Anyway, when it speaks to Mars and Pisces, it talks about the planet of energy and aggression, things that that you want. So it's the Ten of Cups is, you know, where all of your happiness and your passions and your accepting life as it comes, you sort of come from. So it's also about that artistic license to just go ahead and do things that you want to do. You know, it's also speaking to some kind of quest for perfection, but the card is about a life well lived. It's a garden of delight, and you're surrounded by the company of loved ones, you know, and especially because we're all, or a lot of us are in quarantine, you know, again, taking the time to actually move on your life path in a new way, to appreciate life in a new way, to change your perspective. So the card speaks to peace, joy, happiness, and overall contentment. So I'll leave the advice cards toward the very end. Those are the ones that are the Archangel Power cards, which is the Eight of Raphael, and then we also have the Ace of Ariel, as well as the Knight of Ariel. And again, knights are usually about messengers coming through there, can also be an energy of a person. And then we've got the Four of Raphael as well. So some angel cards there, again, looking out for you. Eights are generally about moving past things, overcoming obstacles. So there is some healing taking place here, but again, I felt more of a soul-searching energy, although you're still connected to, you know, doing your day-to-day, you know, getting things cleaned and doing your, you know, organizing around the house or whatever it is for you, given that work situations may not be at the forefront for many of us right now. So the next card, this is more specific to the career and finance reading, and this is the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands is your first card, and this is actually the one that speaks to either your energy or someone else around you, or again, just where you're headed here. So this is, I feel in this case, it's actually related to the person. If a person, it is a Leo, Aries, Sagittarius energy. Again, it's just qualities of those that are carried through with those signs. But it is a card that speaks to you being now getting focused. So it is a career-oriented type person. Somebody who is very optimistic. Again, it could be somebody in your sphere that is helping to, you know, push you ahead or inspire you. But it is somebody who is fairly self-assured. This person has, you know, knows what they're doing. They know where they're going. This is somebody who's quite a pioneer of sorts. You know, it can be a little more anxiety-ridden, but it is, with wands, it's a faster-moving energy. It's somebody who is quite protective. It is also a really creative, expressive person. So with wands, it could be somebody who's a little on the competitive side as well, and they like to keep up appearances, that kind of thing, but they are a person who's able to make bold, courageous kind of decisions. So again, it's an energetic, uplifting, you know, quality of a person, and it really is somebody who's action-oriented, has drive. They might even like to be the center of attention, could be a little bit moody, but they're goal-driven. You know, they're a little stubborn, but they are there for you as a friend. So, or as a long-lasting partner, whatever it is to you. But it's somebody who's, again, really responsible. As far as the as a feelings card, this could also speak to a lot of getting what you want kind of energy. So it could be, sorry, just about you starting out with an attitude for the month of April that you're going to be some kind of a change maker, that you want to, head out in a journey where you are being nurtured, where there's some kind of care and growth, and just that you're dedicated to taking that on. So it's just about somebody who knows how to move ahead, knows how to take control of their situation. But again, could speak to a person as well that's inspiring you. So the Eight of Cups is lots of emotional energy here, as I say. So that's, again, spoke to a lot of the earlier cards on the general energies, that there would be some heightened emotion with the Lion card that was coming through. So you just want to be mindful of that and try to stay a little more under control, and not to let them get too far out of your control. So the Eight of Cups is an energy of moving away from things. It's a time of transition, and that's exactly where I felt most of the energy was going with April. So again, it's about, heading out into a new direction. It's a journey of self-discovery, basically. It's just about, success is up ahead, but again, you still have energy is magnified as well, because you also have the Eight of Swords. And that's a double 8. So you are, again, definitely going through some kind of a transition here. You're letting go of things that are no longer useful to you, which again spoke to a lot of the release cards and everything above. But you are changing directions, basically. So you're leaving the past behind. You're walking away from things that didn't serve you. It's that self-discovery. It's moving on to better things. It's a personal development card. With the Eight of Cups, and that there are some big changes that are coming. The Eight of Swords spoke to, you self-sabotaging. It's about you kind of being up in your head to a degree where you're immobilizing yourself, but you're not really stuck. It's a bit of a it's a bit of a trick, I guess, is what you're doing. You're playing tricks on yourself, because you do have a lot of freedom with this card. It's a self-imposed kind of restriction. It's a mental conflict, is how I would express it. You're seeing your hands tied there, but you're not really tightly bound, that kind of thing. So, they can speak to a boring job or no job, that kind of thing as well, but you're overall feeling like some kind of a victim. You're lacking some kind of a direction here. You're feeling trapped or a little bit more powerless. And again, isolation, which again, that's, kind of metaphoric of where we're all in some way with quarantine. But again, it's about, swords of illusion. So you just need to pull yourself out of this energy and move ahead, which you will, because that restriction card, that level of vulnerability, is followed by a pentacle card, which is grounded. It's a grounded energy of a person. Again, it could be you either coming in contact with the Queen of Pentacles, or it can be that you are that Queen of Pentacles. But the Queen of Pentacles here is, the next card there, which speaks to, the person who's there for everybody. This could, again, be your energy. It's about that person who, does what they can for their family. They're always a multitasker, cleaning their home regularly. They're supporting family. They're really creative. They're resourceful. They're sensible. They're dependable. But it's all about security with this card. Somebody who needs to maintain their security, their financial security. And again, you had the Four of Pentacles with that I mentioned earlier, which also spoke to the same. The Four of Pentacles here, it's about hanging on to things so that you feel like you're looked after, or your family's looked after. There was that sensible nature coming through, that dependability. So again, you're being realistic with your view of where you're at, and still home loving, and you're still, helping children or helping others out. But again, it does speak to, support is also there in finding a job and those kinds of things, because I should mention there's two queens here in the reading that I see so far. And with 2 queens, that speaks to you're getting help from another or some kind of support as well. And again, it's about family and, finding work and that kind of thing. So things that are practical in nature. It is also followed by the King of Swords. Really strong energy as well there. Swords are, again, about the mind, and it could be an authoritative figure that's coming around you, or that you are taking back, authority in your own life, and because it is a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy, but it is somebody who's got some high standards. They're very principled, they're fair-minded, capable, intellectual type person, somebody who's really realistic and rational. In terms of money, you might still need to be a little more. I don't think this is really where it's going with that card, so I'm not even going to mention that. But it is somebody who's quite strategic in nature, and it can mean that there's a quick decisions that need to be made here with regards to stability and finance and structure and self-discipline and control. So there is still a strong element of that in the beginning of the month, I would say, for April, that you're still trying to maintain control. You're not changing an awful lot. I feel that you're still trying to just stay within a certain realm of control. I mean, this card could also speak to, a deep thinker, but it's also legal, government issues, that kind of thing that could be coming through with that card, because it does represent, lawyers or figures of authority, that kind of thing that you're dealing with. Could be that the Queen is dealing with this kind of energy as well. Following that is the High Priestess card, which is really a card about developing talents. So I'll try to shift sorry, you'll see my cat in view there as well, but possibly. But anyway, the High Priestess, although a lot of the card is covered here because I do have it clarified with some other cards, but the High Priestess card is really speaking to, you developing talents here. And it's about, and again, I didn't feel that you didn't know what your talents were. I feel that you have developed a lot of talents. It's just that now you need to make some practical decisions to grow those talents. It is about having, wisdom. You already have that wisdom. You already have that secret knowledge. You already have that instinct, and again, that's also a card of protection. So again, you got a lot of protection coming through for you to be able to make these decisions in the month of April. So you are safe to trust. The divine is there for you. But again, it's about, whatever study you need to blossom or to broaden or expand your ideas, this is the time to take that, use that power, that unseen power to make some influence, in practical ways. So taking action, and it's about a card of balance, and it does speak to you being on the right path here. So whatever ideas that you're getting through the month of April, and again, considering travel and artistic measures or talents, that kind of thing, that card spoke to the same. It speaks to you being on the right path, and even though you can't see the other card here, I'm just going to quickly bring it around. You also have it's clarified with the Justice card. And again, that's also a Libra Virgo energy. So it's you standing in your power, you coming through in your own reading, which, and that was followed by the Judgment card. So that's really, again, exemplifying your own level of empowerment throughout the month of April. So whatever ideas and things that are starting to come through are, do trust it, because you are getting guidance, but you're also getting some, ready-made talents that you already have that you just need to grow. You just need to expand them. You just need to express them. Okay, so as I mentioned, the High Priestess was really just a card about, bringing things to the forefront. So it is about using your hidden knowledge and making things come to the surface to create some balance. But it was clarified by the Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles speaks to that level of independence. So, whatever these ideas are, they're going to lead you to a level of independence. And then following that, you had the card of the Ten of Wands. I'll try to shift it again here, and the Ten of Wands, again, spoke to the same. So Ten of Wands, releasing old cycles and transitioning into new domains. And that was also followed by the Seven of Swords, and seven, and you've got 2 of them. Seven of Swords and the Seven of Cups. So highly emotional cards, but also speaking to you having to defend yourself and feeling, that you're up against something. So there might be some challenges there that you're having to battle, but you're overcoming them. You're releasing them. They're no longer, in the way for you because, you have reached the part of judgment and being on the right path, because judgment is the next card. And again, it was followed by the Libra Virgo card, which is you standing in your own power and able to make some strong decisions, regarding your life path. So again, because you had the sevens there, I just want to quickly make mention that the sevens also speak to true love, but it can also indicate, that soul searching, that solitude, anything that, is helping you to be able to move ahead. So there is still that element which I mentioned. I didn't feel you were in full hermit mode or anything like that. I just felt that you were just doing a lot of nostalgic back and forth, thinking about where you were and where you are today kind of energy. So following that is the Eight of Wands. So you might be getting some communication coming through soon here with the Eight of Wands. And it's fast incoming communication because the Wands are fast energies. So again, that could be coming through on the internet, could be a job that's coming through as a resource on that front. But you are being told to be strong. Whatever the information that's coming through is going to be positive information. But just again, this is about you taking back the power in your own life and moving forward with the Strength card. And again, you've got the World card following that, which is the card that means things are starting to open up for you, and it's in a positive direction. So, again, just to be mindful of the energies that are coming through. This is all toward the end of April. But again, take the time to follow your cycles, as it mentioned earlier. Just when you feel like you need to slow down and pause, take that time, because that's where the energy from divine or source spirit is coming through to give you something that you will be able to better hear when you're in a contemplative space. So again, with the World card, this is about you getting universal help. It's about the divine coming through, helping you to develop those creative talents or develop those creative projects. It's about a reward for hard work. So there is something that's coming through on that front. And again, that card also speaks to travel. So again, whatever this is, there's several cards here that speak to travel. So there's something that's, maybe it's again, a job that is coming through from another place in the world. But either way, there is something that's revolving around travel that is still a positive, good sign. It could even speak to a surprise gift coming through. And the reason why I say that is because it's not immediately followed by the Chariot, but you also have, a new opportunity of some sort coming through here with the Ace of Cups. So, but anyway, your next card following that, that World card, which is the Clarifier, was the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups is really about you, again, pulling back. It's that card of solitude. It's about you feeling like you're at a loss with something. You're not able to move ahead. So again, you're kind of back and forth with that energy throughout the month of April, but it is getting better each time. The Four of Cups is about that withdrawal. It is about feeling like your problems maybe are overwhelming you on some level. There's that discontent. I feel that what's coming through is it's more that it's discontent, that you're bored, that you're feeling stymied. Because I do feel overall you are fairly stable as far as your finances go. But I feel that you might want a new source of income. You might want to, get something that makes you feel a little more passionate, more alive, whether it's love relationship involved in there as well, because there was some reference to love. But I feel it's even a little deeper than that. I feel it actually has something to do with a life path goal here. But again, it's an apathetic time. The card is about a hesitation. So it's maybe that you just don't feel that there's a clear answer yet. But it is clarified with the Star card. And again, that's a card of optimism. So the Star card is letting you know that it's to have hope, have faith, stay on the path. You're moving in the right direction. There's nothing for you to worry about, so long as you open yourself up and you start to listen to where you're headed, divine spirit is guiding you with the Star. So it's about being optimistic, as I mentioned. It's a card of inspiration as well. and about regaining your motivation. So you are coming out of that apathetic Four of Cups energy, and you are starting to, again, it's a card of protection. So, you know, with so many cards of protection, you need to act on it while you do have so much in your corner to make those decisions. So again, it's a positive omen card. You also have the Chariot card, which is a card of success. It is also a vehicle to success that's coming through. So the Chariot can also speak to, you know, not only just accomplishment, but it's also about having the drive, the ambition to get there. And that was also bringing through that Ace of Cups, which was the opportunities. So I do feel that you're creating some of these opportunities. So whatever it is you put out there, this is, you know, the strong motivation to get there with the Chariot. So it does speak to a big victory being near. You know, it's about you getting what you want, whether it's, you know, settling debts, that kind of thing. It's moving into new territory. So basically, I feel the card is really saying, especially because it's followed by a clarifier of the Ace of Cups, which again was Ace of Cups. I feel that, you know, the divine is giving you an opportunity that's coming through, and you are going to be moving into some new territory here, things that you haven't necessarily done before. Like you might have had you might have already had the talent, but you're taking it into a new area. It's a new journey. It's a new beginning. But you were overcoming the odds anyway for whatever you were using as blockages, or allowing as a blockage. You are getting past that by the end of end of April. I don't know why I want to say October. That's really quite a ways away. Anyway, that Ace of Cups is about a universal blessing. So again, it's a new job, new opportunity, new project. Can't even be a gift of money coming through here, but it's a new awareness. It's about you finding some kind of deeper connection, and you're finally able to express your feelings through whatever this new project is that's helping you to heal, and it's helping you to regain some stability again, and just to be patient, you know, in the outcome there. And waiting for that outcome. So at the very end here, there is just three more cards to go through. In the end, you're actually finding the Two of Pentacles, which is about finding balance. There is reciprocity with the Six of Pentacles that follows that. And you also have it clarified, the Two of Pentacles with the King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles, again, that can speak to an energy that's around you, or it can be just you being back, finding your balance, and being able to feel some level of success. Something is starting to allow you to feel like you have reached a level of proficiency, you know, that you're able to be enterprising, you're feeling more reliable. If it is speaking to the energy of a person, sorry, you know, it does actually speak to somebody who could be advising you on a financial level. It could also speak to, you know, you moving ahead and being stable. But again, it's a responsible person. It's someone who is who's already achieved a fair amount of success. You know, it is about expansion, basically, with that card. So it's about, again, that reliable person, somebody who's very charismatic, business leader, practical, and responsible. And it can actually also be, as well, as I mentioned, about you finding the balance with the Two of Pentacles, because you're taking a responsible attitude. And with the Six of Pentacles, again, that was about that reciprocity, some give and take. You know, somebody might be helping you out here with that energy, but it could also speak to, you know, it is a card of reconciliation. So maybe on some level there's a reconciliation in a relationship, whether it's friendship or family or business. But it also speaks to, you know, money's being there for you. So again, I don't see leaps and bounds in terms of money and finance, you know, roaring through for the month of April, but I do see a lot of stability. So nothing that is giving me the sense that things are out of control on any level. It feels like everything's still within your control. And I'm also going to say, again, with that card, with the Six of Pentacles, it can also speak to travel for work, travel for something that you're doing online. But it is still a card that, you know, can be dealing with things online as well. But anyway, moving past that, we are just in the final 4 cards, which are really just your advice cards, and these are the Archangel cards, power cards. So the Eight of Raphael speaks to, there is something better waiting for you. Do what you know is right for you, a spiritual quest. So that card, again, eights are about overcoming things, overcoming obstacles and transitioning, elsewhere. So it's letting you know that, there is more. There is more to what you're currently doing, and it's time to leave the past behind and embrace this brand new you. It's not a choice that's being forced on you, it's one that you're creating. So your past experiences have been important to you, and it's important as well, that they help you to understand who you are, and just to be grateful for the things that you were able to learn. But now you need to build on those. You need to either relocate in your mind, onto this new project and see yourself in a new way, or a relocation or change, whether it's in job or relationships. But it is a journey nonetheless. It's a spiritual quest. It's about doing what you know is right for you and having a change of your interests. So there's also the Ace of Ariel, which is about, things being lucky for you. So it's your lucky day, new resources of money, time, or support. It's a change in job or promotion. So with the Ace of Ariel, it really speaks to, new resources that are coming to you, whether it's time, money, anything along that line. But it's something that is a planned new business or some kind of a career choice that is going to be successful for you. And you're able to manifest your dreams with this card. It's a really powerful card, actually. It's quite a card that speaks to laying down long-term financial plans. It's about living on life on purpose and letting you know that you do have a very lucrative idea ahead, and that that you are getting a helping hand, and it's very bright prospects with that card. So definitely do not you need to take advantage of what's coming through for the month of April, ideas and synergistically aligning things, because the universe is helping you with that. So the Knight of Ariel is again about messages coming through with knights, and it says there is so much to accomplish. Make a very detailed plan, and that you're being watched over by someone kind. So this could be a relative. This could also speak to, again, spirit or an angel of some sort, but it is that you need to take some practical measures to put things into action on a slow and steady basis, is what the card speaks to with the Knight of Ariel. It's a slow, steady energy, but it's about you watching the person that's watching over you, or spirit that's watching over you. This person has great kindness for you. This is somebody who is, has your best interests at heart. So I do feel that it could actually be a relative of some sort, or a family member. But again, it's about, you trusting in that process, because it's a creative one. Again, it's a creative, renewed kind of energy. So it is letting you know that you're finding your energy. So whatever momentum you somehow had lost, it's being regained in the month of April. And again, with the Four of Raphael, that one speaks to seek out other possibilities and look for the magic in life and be aware of your own emotions. So again, it seems like there's a lot of emotions that are still coming through as an overriding tone for the month of April. So again, just to be aware of that. But with this card, it really does let you know that, you do have additional options. There are other things. Things are not what they seem. So even though you might feel limited and things might not seem like what you'd hoped for, it is letting you know that there's more than meets the eye. So opportunities are starting to present themselves, but your focus might be too narrow to actually see all the possibilities that go with that opportunity. So you might negate the opportunity before you really give it a chance to flesh it out and expand it, because it is going to be something that's lucrative for you. So just to open your eyes to those possibilities, and, even though life might be sort of lacking in some magic or excitement at this time, it's letting you know that this is a great shot at that enlightenment, and again, you're being told that you need to take that leap of faith here, as it was with the Ains card. So it's about you moving ahead and to a happier life, and you might be missing the point on some things. Allow yourself to expand and use the awareness of your emotions. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of guidance. Sorry about the two-part series there on that, Virgo. But again, I felt there was a lot of cards that needed to be spoken to with this. So if you like my channel and you felt this resonated with you, again, don't try to force the readings. I mean, if it is something that resonates with you, please like and subscribe, and I look forward to your next reading in May.